Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are down to one of our last couple of nights to review for your test. And one of the things that you're going to need to know for your test will be these different formulas. So we want to take some time and make sure that you have a good list of formulas to work from. And starting with number one, to find the area of a circle. Area starts with A, so this formula starts with A. A circle is shaped like a certain dessert. A circle is shaped like a pie, so pi needs to be in this formula. If you remember, we had a silly way to remember this one. It was A, red, raspberry, pie. Red, radius, raspberry, radius, pi, that Greek letter pi. You may want to remember that the value of pi is 3.14, or you can use 22 over 7. Okay? Starting with number 2, we're doing circumference of a circle. Circumference starts with C. A circle is pie-shaped, so we've got to have pi in it. We had a memory trick for this one of cream or chocolate or cherry. Pies are delightful or delicious or whatever you want to think of. So cream, C, equals pi, that Greek letter that stands for 3.14, delightful, D for diameter. Area of a rectangle. There are actually two. You came to class knowing that the area of a rectangle, the formula was A equals length times width. I suggested that maybe you use the formula A equals base times height, because that formula is going to be used a lot and it will come in handy. Like for a parallelogram. A rectangle is a parallelogram, so they could use the same formula of A equals base times height. One formula, two shapes. Area of a triangle. I showed you in class that we could take a rectangle. The formula for that is base times height. We could draw a diagonal line across. And what does that make? It makes a triangle. How much of the rectangle? It's half. So the formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, or, and I prefer, base times height over 2. I also demonstrated for you how to get the area of a trapezoid. We had one trapezoid. We put it together with another trapezoid and found out that it equaled a parallelogram. So the formula for this big parallelogram would be base times height. But you'll notice that we have two different sections here of the base. The long side, base 1, and the short side, base 2. So we end up having to change this base to base 1 plus base 2, and then you would multiply that by the height of the parallelogram. But again, we just want the trapezoid. We just want a part of it. That would be half. In order to find half, you divide by 2. The area of a trapezoid, these should say A equals base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. Surface area of a rectangular prism. Now, some of you were trying to use this formula for a triangular prism. Triangular prisms, if you want the surface area of a triangular prism, I told you there's not a good one. It's awful. So what you need to do is add the area of all the faces. You find the area of the front, the back, the left, the right, and the bottom, and you add them all up. Surface area of a rectangular prism is the one we related to Noah's Ark. The animals get on 2 by 2. There are 6 animals. 2 little wildcats. 2 times the length times the width, plus 2 large horses. 2 times the length times the height, plus 2 wild hogs, the width times the height. Finally, for volume of anything is V equals uppercase B times h. The thing is, what does that uppercase B represent? The uppercase B represents the area of the base. In my last video, we made sure that you knew how to find the bases. If you look at a shape and you'd call it a triangular prism, then a triangle is its base. If you look at a shape and you'd call it a rectangular prism, then a rectangle is its base. So you find the area of the base and then multiply it by the height of that prism to see how many times that work could be repeated. These are the formulas that you will have to memorize. These will not be given to you on the test. Moving on to number 9. I was really impressed with some of your scale work. Something I saw you do not too long ago. Oh, your quiz. You did a lot better than I expected you to. So we've only got one scale problem here for you to do because you did pretty well with this on your quiz. When you're finding, using a scale, you're going to use a proportion. The model of the statue has a scale of 1 inch to 24 feet. That's going to be your first ratio, 1 inch over 24 feet. Now, we know that the model is 15 inches tall. Here's the trick. Getting the 15 in the right place. 15 inches. That ought to be one clue. Inches is the numerator in the other ratio, so we want inches to be the numerator in the second ratio in the proportion. And then you're solving. I'm going to use h for the height of the statue. Put in h right here. And now we need to use those cross products to solve. 1h, 1 times h, equals 24 times 15. Uh-oh, 24 times 15 I have written down on a key somewhere, but I don't have it with me. Aha! 1h equals 360. Divide both sides by 1, and h equals 360 feet. That's how tall the statue would be. Now we're looking at the 3 side links that will create a triangle. If you think back to the paper that we folded and we tried to make triangles out of different shapes, and you learned this one property. The sum of the 2 short sides has got to be longer than the third side. So the 2 short sides here are 3 and 6. 3 plus 6 equals 9. 9 is not larger than 10. 9 is actually less than 10, the third side. Therefore, no triangle could be made. If we look at number 11, the 2 short sides are 8 and 7. 8 plus 7 is greater than 14. 15 is greater than 14. So yes, this will make a triangle. We get down to number 12. The angles of a triangle should add up to 180 degrees. If you add 39 and 47 and 84, I don't think you get 180 degrees. I can't find my key right now, so bear with me. I'm going to add it together really quickly on my calculator. And no, it adds up to 170. 170 degrees will not make a triangle. Same thing for number 13. 80 plus 21 would be 101, plus 73 would be 174 degrees, and so no, that will not make a triangle. So, knowing about the sides and the angles of a triangle, being able to use a scale, and memorizing the formulas that are on the top are going to be important for you to do well on your quiz. See you tomorrow.